I'm Boots.
And I'm Heels. Folks, as you can see, we are sporting our Sound of Freedom t-shirts. God's Children is not for sale. Can I get an amen out there?
Amen on that one.
You know, so go see the movie. We did go see it. And, yeah, it's pretty intense. But definitely I think you should support it. And you should go really take a look at what's really going on, not just here, but also in other countries.
Well, I mean, people have their eyes closed.
They do.
To a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things. And this is one of them. You know, the child trafficking and sex trafficking in general has been going on for probably ever.
Oh,
but, you know, I think with the problems with the internet and all the pornography and things like that, that it's really exploded. And the mental disease and the sickness, you know, that's eating up our society's rampant. It's terrible.
It's just part of all the rest of the parts of the world that's gone crazy and down the tubes and taking people straight to hell. Yeah. So, you know, but mainly today we really want to talk about something completely else, and we want to talk about January 6th. And folks, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not convinced that it was mostly a setup, then I think you need to tap on the link below, because we're going to send the link over there. And before you even think about it being just an interview with Tucker, okay, for those of you that might not like Tucker, let's not worry about Tucker. Let's worry about the chief of police, okay, Stephen's son, okay, that was the chief of police for protection of the Capitol of our United States of America on the day of January 6th, and had been for a very long time. And let's listen to what he had to say. So if there's any doubt in your mind, if you want to know the truth, some of you don't want to know the truth, we know that. But if you really want to know the truth, you will go get it from the horse's mouth, set aside everything else, and listen to this interview, in-depth interview, where he tells about the fact that, and I'll just do a real quick briefing on it.
Go right ahead.
Basically, there was a lot of intel that there was going to be an attack on the Capitol, probably where
because it was planned. Well, because it was planned. I mean, and Pelosi's daughter was in charge of media for that day.
So there you go. Yeah. So, you know, and we know this now. We know that it's absolute proof via emails, and also a lot of talk between Milley and also General Flynn pretty emphatically discuss completely locking down the city and actually pulling people's permits that were there to even have rallies and, you know, to come and say their piece. But so they talked about that pretty heavily.
But they didn't want to do that because without people there with permitted to protest or in support of the Constitution, you couldn't have the fake insurrection. So they had to allow the permits to get the people there to be able to have the fake insurrection.
So in a nutshell, okay, so all this intel, and you got to remember that the chief of police has his own intel agency as well. So who would you mainly call or mainly talk to if there was a proposed problem going to happen? But yet that conversation didn't happen.
Not him.
Multiple conversations between other people, but they did not share that information with the chief of police. That is what people really need to be stopping and thinking about right there. They didn't even share it with Robert Conte, which, by the way, is head of the biggest police office in the entire Washington, D.C. I mean, they didn't even share it with him. And that is proof. And if you will listen to this and actually just tap on the link and give yourself a few minutes, then you will understand this.
Please watch it.
Not only did, the chief of police call for help 32 times, but also he was actually on the phone call when Ashley Babbitt was killed. He's screaming into the phone, shots fired, shots fired. Is that enough for you to help me now? So at the very same time that they were denying help to the chief of the police that's on the phone screaming for help 32 times, they're also putting in action that you cannot have any kind of aggressive posture to the National Guard that you could see within eye distance and that was not allowed to come to their aid. I'm just going to sum it up. They did get aid later, but that was the night shift after they sent that shift home, and that was at 6 o'clock in the evening where they lined the National Guard up with a photo op for military magazines. Okay, so you have that, and you have Nancy Pelosi denying the National Guard's assistance. Okay, we already know that because Trump offered and she declined it. And then you have, your heads of these departments begging for help, and they're refused. It's just a refusal. They refuse to help them. What say all you out there?
Well, they didn't want to help prevent what they had planned. So it was all planned. I mean, back to the Ashley Babbitt shooting, she was surrounded by police officers and by Capitol Hill police officers all the way up the corridor, walking side by side, shoulder to shoulder with her. So no one has ever understood why she was sacrificed the way she was when she was surrounded by police the whole entire way through. I mean, none of it makes sense except for it was a planned pile of crap, and they got away with it, and they're still getting away with it because the average American is too busy drinking beer and playing golf to give a darn.
Yeah. What about the House Sergeant of Arms? Okay, Paul Irving. I mean, where is he? He sort of disappeared, and you know, he's like the right-hand person to Pelosi, and he sort of disappears on the 7th of January. No one really hears from him anymore. I mean, wouldn't you think he would have a lot to say? And let me tell you something about this January 6th committee. I mean, they didn't want to, you know, the main people that were there and involved in this, you know, situation, they did not want them to testify. I mean, folks, please take a listen to this and for yourself, if for no other reason.
How have all these documents and things from the January 6th committee disappeared? All this information has disappeared. How does that even happen? I mean, you have to keep your tax records for what, 17 years? But these yahoos can do everything, and then just suddenly everything disappears into thin air, but yet they want to prosecute our president.
I know. Isn't that crazy? And if you really want to think about this, okay, because, you know, there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of people saying, you know, were there FBI agents in the crowd? Well, if you'll listen to the former chief of police, of security of the Capitol of the United States with a 30-year reign of, tenure, you know, what he has to say about that. If there's a ticket parade, if there's an inauguration, it's just sort of formality to have plants in there, plainclothes FBI agents for intel purposes, for situational circumstances, all of those things. But you don't think they wouldn't be there on one of the biggest days of the year with an election that people felt was faulty? Seriously, there's your answer, folks. It is absolutely set up, and you need to go listen to this and take note. Listen to it from the horse's mouth himself. This is only the second interview that he's done, and he has a book out too, by the way. I wish I knew the name of it, but you can look that up. Tells the truth.
What's really alarming about all this is, you know, the apathy of the average American and the inability and lack of desire to want to find out the truth. I mean, I'm a curious person by nature, and even if it's truth that doesn't coincide with how I believe about something, I want to find out the truth.
I want to know. Yeah.
You know, I want to know. And so I just don't understand. Is it that, or do the powers that be, they rub all of this in our face? Is it because we actually are powerless against them? Or do they think, well, those people, they're not going to do anything. They're just the peons. They're just the taxpayers, the peons. We'll steal their money. We're going to do whatever we want because they don't care anyway. They're ignorant. Just give them some cigarettes and some booze. Drug them up a little bit. Keep them happy. They'll never even say anything.
Make sheep out of you. Okay, so, you know, we're just going to sum it up. Listen, you know, don't protect your initial thought process. I mean, seriously, be open-minded enough to go take a listen to this. They're not going to let us advertise this on Facebook, just so you know. We're going to get a little stagnant here because we're already getting all kinds of restrictions, but I will tell you this, it's going to be up to you to pass this word. Please don't just react to it, but share it. Follow us and share it. We'll do the best we can to bring you information. For those of you that have seen it, hopefully you shared it with someone else. And we need to wake up, America. We need to wake them up so that we can get united again as a nation. So for now, we're just going to say so long. God bless you.
God bless
and
America.
God bless America.
Bye-bye.